quick. Okay. Those are the parts of speech. The first one we're going to talk about is the noun. I bet you guys all know what a noun is because you probably learned that like in first grade or second grade. A person, place, thing, or idea. And sometimes there's a little test you can do to check if a word is a noun. And over here, if you see on the side in the margin, it defines what a noun is. We just talked about that. And then it says tests. And basically, if you put whatever word you're looking at in the blank here and you say the blank, like the computer or the pen or the cell phone, that works, right? Those are all nouns. But if I said the purple, you're kind of be left hanging going, well, the purple what? That doesn't give us a noun, right? It's a color, so it's an adjective. It's not a noun. It doesn't work unless you have another word after it. So that's a little test, or if you can count it. So they're giving you the number 2 here. So if I have like this eraser, this whiteboard eraser, I can count them. If I had 2 of them, I can count them, right? That's a noun. But if I had 2 pretty, it's like 2 pretty what? 2 pretty flowers? I mean, you need another word. So that's how you can check if a word is a noun. That's one of the ways. There's also the compound noun, which is usually 2 or more words, and that's usually like a name. So your name, like Jude Swanson, is 2 words technically, but it's 1 noun because it's his whole name. So sometimes, like in our story, we might have Robin Hood as an example down here. It's 2 words, but it's still 1 noun because it's a proper name for him. And then there's also, I went too far. King Richard is the other example they gave you. And then we're going to talk about article adjectives. There's only 3 in the entire English language. It's a, an, and the, not and with a D, but an, like an. And then a noun follows the article adjective. So we're going to be marking those. And then pronouns, we know those to take the place of a noun in order to avoid repetition. So when you're telling a story and you introduce a character like Robin Hood, you're going to use the pronoun he instead of saying Robin Hood, Robin Hood, Robin Hood, Robin Hood, because after a while, that's like not fun to read. So you'll see they'll start using a pronoun he to refer to Robin Hood. Or if there's another character that's a girl, you might see the pronoun she or her, things like that. If the noun is an object like computer, who knows what the pronoun is if we refer back to the computer? If you know, you can unmute and say it. What's the pronoun to refer back to like an object, like a computer? Would it be he or she? Because the computer's not a boy or a girl, right? So what would you say?
It?
Yes, there you go. It. Because it's an object, it's a thing. It's not living. Okay. Now, we're going to skip down here to preposition. It says a preposition starts a phrase that shows the relationship between a noun or a pronoun and another word in the sentence. So a prepositional phrase always begins with a preposition and ends with a noun or a pronoun. Review the prepositions in Appendix 3. So hopefully you have all your supplies with you because that was one of the things you needed to make sure to do is have everything at your fingertips. So hopefully you have your Post-its and either a pen or a pencil, because I'm going to have you put a Post-it in this book on a page. I'm going to tell you in just a second. So get your Post-it ready. Go ahead and take off just one Post-it note. I'm going to show you how to do this. It's kind of cool. And then what I want you to do is the sticky side. I want you to leave the sticky side face up. And at the top of that side, where the sticky side is, I want you to write the word prepositions. My pen is not cooperating with me. Try a different one.
Which side did you say to?
So this is the sticky side facing up. So I took off one Post-it and the sticky is down at the bottom, up, face up. And then at the top of that side, does that make sense to you?
Yeah. Yes,
Good.
thank you.
You're welcome. Good question. And I'll show you why we're doing it this way. So the word is prepositions. Hopefully you guys can see that. I'll zoom in a little bit. There you go. Prepositions. Now, give me a thumbs up if you got your sticky note ready. Good. Okay. Got it, Jude? Okay. Now, let me back out so you can see what I'm doing. At the very, very, very last page of your book, literally the last page, it's page 198. I want you to flip back to that very last page. 198. You'll see that I already have some sticky notes in here. So in fact, I'll just take those off so it doesn't confuse you. There. I want you to turn, now you put the note here on the back of the sticky. So you're going to turn it this way, upside down, and put it right here. So it's sticking up. So the prepositions word is facing away from you when you stick it on your page. But see how I have it over the top? This is a skill that I want you to learn when you're marking things in your book to help you find it again faster. Okay. Thumbs up if you got your sticky note on there like that. Good. Okay, good. I see that. So when you turn back, you got it, Jude? You're good. Okay. So when you turn back to your page, guess what? Boom, there it is. It's facing you now. That's why we did it upside down, so that it's easy to see. So when you're working on your homework and you're like, uh-oh, I forgot what a preposition is, guess what? You just go to that sticky note at the very back and you go, oh yeah, it's right here. Here's my list. This is going to help you with your homework in this book. Okay. That's the preposition list. So guess what? A prepositional phrase always 100% of the time starts with a preposition. That's why that list is handy for you. So, and it has also a noun, but I just want you to know that a prepositional phrase never has a verb. That's something different. So the prepositional phrase has a preposition plus a noun and no verb. So here it says memorize it. So that's something I want you to try to memorize. Preposition plus noun. That's a prepositional phrase. So here down at the bottom is your example of how we're going to mark these words in this book. So you're going to write an N above each noun. You're going to use a single N for compound nouns because we know some names have two words. So we're still only writing one N. Write AR above each article and PR above each pronoun. So basically what you're doing is abbreviating those words. Those are the parts of speech that you're learning and that you're going to learn how to mark in this book. Underline each prepositional phrase. Okay, so I'm down here at the bottom with this example. And it says, Robin Hood and his men lived in the forest. So you can already see all the nouns. Let's look at those first. Robin Hood together, they put a little bracket there. That's a noun. Men, that's a person or people, right? So that's a noun. And then forest, that's a place. That's a noun. Notice they marked the pronoun his. It's talking about Robin Hood, right? Takes the place of Robin Hood, so it's not too repetitive. And then we have articles here, we have the article the. Remember, it's just a, and the for article. But here we have the prepositional phrase. It's underlined, and you're going to do that in your book. But don't worry, we're going to practice this together. In the forest. So if you just take a peek at your prepositions page that you just marked and double check, is the word in that list. By the way, this is book, and I know Chase knows this because he's had a class like this before. You flip around in this book all the time, huh, Chase? We're always moving pages, yeah, turning pages, flipping it, marking stuff. So get used to that. Notice, did anybody see in on the list? Give me a thumbs up if you see it. You saw it, Zoe? Okay, good. I see that. Good. Matt and Alex, good job. In is right. And they put it in alphabetical order for you, which is like handy dandy. So that was nice of them. They put it in order. But remember, it always starts with one of these words. So now go back. In the forest. Now, here's the other thing about prepositional phrases, because remember, preposition plus noun, it always ends on a noun. It always starts with a preposition like in, and it always ends on a noun. That's how you know the phrase. So think about that when you're looking for it. Starts with a preposition, ends with a noun. Does anyone have any questions about this page that we just talked about? If you do not have any questions, just shake your head no like this. If you do have a question, just raise your hand. Okay. I see, well, both Matt and Alex. So I don't know which one. Oh, go ahead, Matt. I see you there.
I might have to leave a little early since I'm going somewhere today. Just letting you know.
I appreciate that. And that's fine with me. And the good thing is I recorded this. So if you miss anything at the end, you can just watch it later. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. I'll put the recording in the Google Classroom. So that's where you'll find it. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right. If nobody has any other questions, we're going to just move on to the next page. On the back of that, there's a little bit more to go over. We're going a little bit long with this lesson because it took us a little bit to get started. So I'm going to kind of breeze through this because I have a feeling you guys are familiar with capitalizing words and end marks and even indentation, but I'm going to just review it. Capitalization is for names or the first word of the sentence or the word I when it's by itself. And to fix it in this book, you're going to put 3 little lines under the letter that needs to be capitalized because they made mistakes on purpose in this book, and your job is to find them and fix them. So 3 lines under Robin. Robin lived in Sherwood Forest. That's a name. So 3 lines under those. He, because it's a new sentence, he told his men, I, anytime you have I by yourself, by itself, you capitalize, will hunt with you. End marks usually are periods most of the time. Sometimes we have a question mark or an exclamation mark. You guys know about that. Did Robin give up? That's a question. So it needs a question mark. He would never quit, exclamation point. He was used to challenges, period. So those are 3 examples of the 3 different end marks you can use. And then indentation. Who can tell me when do we indent? When is a good time to indent? Zoe.
You can indent when you're starting a paragraph.
Yep, that's exactly right. When you start a paragraph as a bigger space at the beginning, that's called an indentation. And there's a couple of reasons why you do that. There's 4 actually. If you have a new speaker that comes into the story, you start a new paragraph. If you have a new topic, that's a new paragraph. If you have a new place, that's a new paragraph. And then a new time, that's a new paragraph. So those are reasons why you would start a new paragraph in your story if you're writing like a creative story. All right, now we're going to get down to the practice here. So go ahead and flip your book over. This is where I use this little, it's like a clear piece of plastic. Because this is my teacher edition book, and so I don't want to mess it up. So I usually put a piece of plastic. Sometimes my light reflects, as you can see on the side here. But that way I can write on it with an erasable marker, and then I can clean it and nobody will know. Nobody will see the answers. So the first step on the new page, this is page 3, is to read the sentence. So do I have anyone that wants to volunteer to read the sentence? Anybody feel like reading it? How about, I'm going to see if Chase can read it. I know you don't have your book in front of you, but can you read it to us here on the Zoom?
In the olden days of England, King Richard reigned over the land.
Nice. Good job, Chase. So the vocabulary word is always in bold. Do you see how it's a little darker here? So our word today is reigned. So Chase, do you know what reigned means?
Like to rule over.
Mm-hmm. Good. Like a king or a queen or something like that, to rule over the land. Very good. So after we make sure that we know that vocabulary word, go ahead and put a check by vocabulary at the top. And then we're going to move over here to this column that says market. Now these are, it's telling you in parentheses here how to mark it. So the first one says there are 2 articles. So you're going to find 2 articles and you're going to put AR on top of it. So let's make a note here though to remind us what the articles are. So we have A, and then we're going to put comma, an, comma, the. So go ahead and write that at the top. Whoops. That way, that's just a little note to remind you, what am I looking for? Oh yeah, a, an, and the. So now in the sentence, just look for those types of words and then write AR on top of it. Like for instance, here, I see the first one, the, I'm going to put AR. And I see another the here. That's how easy this is. It's like a scavenger hunt kind of, where we look for these words and then mark it. So it gives us a clue that there's only 2 and we mark it with AR, and we already did that. So we can put a check mark up here. Are you doing it, Alex, in your book? Okay, good. Next is nouns. You guys know what nouns are. So I want to see if, well, let's go with Alex. Do you see the 4 nouns in that sentence?
Yes. England,
Okay,
King Richard,
good. And this is how we're going to mark King Richard, like with a little bracket like that. Okay, good. What else?
land,
Good.
and I don't know any other one.
Anybody else have an idea what the 4th one is? Zoe.
Days.
Yes, days. Good. Good job, both of you. So those are the 4 nouns, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we can put a check mark here next to the nouns. And now we're on to the prepositional phrases. Now, remember, if you need to check in the back, you can do that to see what word am I looking for? Well, there's a clue because the word in, we already did on our practice a minute ago. We knew that was a preposition. So that's your first clue. So let's see, Jude, can you help us find the prepositional phrase? So I'll give you a clue. It starts with in, the word in, I-N, and it ends on a noun.
In the olden days.
Perfect. Yes. So go ahead and underline in the olden days. Good job.
And do the other 2 or
Yeah, if you know them, go for it.
of England
Yep, of England. Good.
and over the land.
Nice, Jude. Oh man, you were already on top of that. Good job. Because of and over are also prepositions. That's awesome. Okay. So we got those. Notice I put a space here because these are two separate prepositional phrases here. And now we can move on to fix it. These are things we need to continue to fix. We marked everything and now we're fixing. So Chase, where do the capitals need to be?
Well, one at the front,
On in
yeah. And
Okay, good.
England,
and England, good.
Richard. And then, King.
Yes, good. King, because that is part of his name, King Richard. And then Zoe, this is easy peasy cheesy, but what is the end mark that we need at the end of this sentence?
Period.
Good, period. So go ahead and put a check mark by those last two things. Now, I want you to get into the habit of always checking off at the top when you've completed that task. That way you can keep track of where you're at. And now we know everything's checked. So we're done fixing that sentence. So I know this is your first page in the grammar book. So I'm going to have you write it in the space below, but notice it's indented here because it's the beginning of the story. So what I want you to do is start down here on this line, leave a space, and go ahead and start copying the sentence at the bottom. And don't forget to fix the capitals as you're going here. Notice I went back to the other end here under that. King Richard reigned. Okay, go ahead and finish that sentence. Hey, give me a thumbs up when you're done with that. I see that. By the way, you guys can use emojis for thumbs up if you want, or give me a physical thumbs up, either way. There you go. Good. Okay, Zoe. And Chase, I know you don't have your book with you. Are you writing it down or are you just waiting?
I'm just waiting.
Okay, so I'm going to keep going, but when you find your book, I want you to do this page, okay?
Okay.
Now, I'm going to erase mine, but you keep yours on there. And your homework for the grammar part of my class is going to be this next page here, which is page 4 and 5 and 6. So it shouldn't take you too long. Like I said, it's just one sentence on each page. So it's not very long, but you're going to do those 3 pages for your homework. Now, notice at the top, it says week 1, day 1. So we always do day 1 together in class, but your job at home later is to do day 2, day 3, and day 4. And then you get Friday off. Well, technically, your day 4 would be Friday. But anyway, you guys are homeschooled, so you can do it whatever day. You can do them all in one day if you want. It doesn't matter as long as it's done by 5 o'clock the night before class. So 5 o'clock Monday night, you should have it all turned into Google Classroom. Okay, so it doesn't matter if you do it all in one day or if you spread it out over the days, it's up to you. Okay, does anybody have any questions about what your homework assignment is for grammar? Nope, shake your head if you don't. Okay, good. Good job. All right, then let's move on. You can close up your your book, your grammar book, because we're done with that for today. And go ahead and set it aside. And now you need your binder. So that's how we do this class. We start with grammar every time, and then we move on to the binder. Okay. Is anybody still missing their binder? Okay, good. That means you have it. And you have yours too, Chase? Okay, good. Inside your binder, you should have unwrapped your pages from the plastic, but does anybody still have this part in the plastic still? Raise your hand if you do. Okay. Jude, do you have yours in front of you? Okay. So you should take the plastic off of the pages. Chase, is yours still wrapped up? Or do you have it in the rings?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
So everything's in the book or something.
Good. It should be all on top of your tabs. So you should see, if you go past all those pages, you should see these tabs here at the back. Okay.
Yeah, I see the tab.
Okay, good. So let's go to the first page for today. So you're going to flip. I'm going to go through this really slow so you know what I'm doing. Keep turning past the table of contents. Table of contents here, keep turning. There's more boring stuff here. Keep going. More boring stuff here. Keep going. Okay, you should stop here where it says week 1, the blue ringed octopus, and then carnivorous plants. So stop on that page. This is page 9. So now you're going to get out pages. You're going to get out a lot. Okay, so pages 9 through 15. So go ahead and open your rings very carefully. Make sure your binder is laying flat, because, you know, pages sometimes slip out if it's not flat. So lay it flat. You need this page, page 9. I'm just going to show you each one so you can follow me along here. You need this one. It's page 11. So take that one out. You need this one, page 13. Take this one out. You need this one, page 15. Take that one out. And that's all. So when you get to the page that says week 2, go ahead and close your rings back. Those are the pages you need. So you should have 1, 2, 3, 4 pages that you took out. Okay. There's one more thing we're going to do with this binder before we get started in the lesson. Once you close your rings, make sure they're closed. You're going to flip back to the back again. And do you see this first tab that says source text? By the way, this is good organizational skills for you guys. So this is something that is good for you to learn. Maybe you're not a very organized person, but this will help you. So source text, I want you to go ahead and open the rings and just take out that one tab. This is called a tab. So you're going to take this out. It says source texts. And then once you take that out, close the rings again, close them back up. And then go back where we were. Go back to week 2, because we took out week 1. We're going to look at that in a second, but go back to week 2 where it says disgusting or delicacy, and that's page 17. You're going to put this tab on top of that. Okay, so it should go open your rings, stick the tab right there on top of week 2. Give me a thumbs up when you got that. Okay, good. Alex, I see that. Good, Zoe. Okay, good, Jude. Chase, you got yours? Almost. I'll give you a second.
No, I'm doing
I'll give you a minute. It's okay. I'd rather you take your time and do it right. Because once we get this thing organized, it's going to be a lot easier to use. And by the way, each day in class, we're going to move things around until you get it fully organized. So, got it, Chase?
What do I do next?
Did you put this here?
The source text? No. Where do I put it?
Okay, this source text tab like this goes
Yeah.
right on top of week 2, disgusting or delicacy. It goes on top of that page. That's page 17. Let me know when you got it. You can stay unmuted, Chase. That way I can help you faster.
I did it.
Okay, good. So your binder should look like this when you close this top page, and then you'll see source text, because now next time we're just going to grab that tab and turn right to it, and you'll have your next assignment right there. So that's why we put it there. Okay. So now you're done with the binder for now. So make sure the rings are closed, close it up, set it aside. And now I want you to get, so this, let me explain this first. This page that says week 1, this is if you were doing the binder without me. This is like your lesson plan if you were doing it by yourself. So we don't really use this page, but we do keep it with the story just so it stays together. So you can just skip that one, set it aside, but don't lose it, okay? And we're going to start with the blue-ringed octopus. And then since it's our first story, I'm going to go ahead and read this, but eventually you guys can, have turns reading. But since this is our first lesson, I'm going to do this one. The first step is to read the story, and then I'm going to talk to you about how to make an outline with it. Okay. So it starts out, it's called the blue-ringed octopus. Okay. So I'm going to read, you guys just listen and follow along on yours. Like others of its order, the blue-ringed octopus has 8 arms, 2 eyes, and a beak-like mouth that can cut through a wetsuit. I'm going to pause right there for a second because I don't know if you've ever seen a wetsuit. Usually surfers wear them. And they're soft, but they are very strong. So this animal, this creature, the octopus, the blue-ringed octopus, can cut through a wetsuit with his mouth. So watch out for the blue-ringed octopus, okay? Okay, I'm going to keep going. It feeds on shrimp, crabs, and small fish. It is comparable in size to a golf ball. And each arm measures about 2 inches from tip to body. Okay, so my image inside my head just changed because I've only seen those big octopus. Even this picture looks big to me, like it's long. But we're talking a golf ball. That's like, it could fit in the palm of your hand. And the mouth of this guy can bite through your wetsuit. So, wow. Okay. So now 2 inches are his legs. That's pretty short. That's like the size of your pinky, or at least my pinky. It's about 2 inches long. So, yeah. Okay. Small guy. I'm going to keep going right here. The blue-ringed octopus can be found on the sandy ocean bottoms and in the coral reefs of Australia, New Guinea, Indonesia, the Philippines, and Japan. So, phew, not in California. Other countries. So this does sound like one of those exotic sea creatures. It is hard to spot as it uses camouflage for self-defense. What other animal do you know that uses camouflage? You can unmute and say
Chameleon.
it. Chameleon, there you go. Yeah. So that's kind of neat that they can do that in the ocean to disguise themselves. To say stay away, it changes color from brown to bright yellow with blue rings. It's beautiful. Its beautiful, unusual coloring makes it a must-find creature for many underwater photographers. While all octopuses are venomous, only the blue-ringed octopus is deadly to humans. At first, a bite might seem painless, but the powerful neurotoxic venom quickly causes numbness of the lips and tongue. Okay, just for a second here, let's look at neurotoxic. That means it's poisonous to the nervous system. So it causes numbness and it changes the nervous system in the body. So this is followed by difficulty in breathing caused by paralysis, and then a shutdown of the senses, which are, sense of smell, taste, sound, hearing, touch. So yeah, this is pretty dangerous, I'm thinking. Death can occur in minutes, and there is no known antidote. One small blue-ringed octopus carries enough venom to kill 26 adult humans in minutes. I bet you didn't know that, and now you do. That's kind of interesting. So these guys are really small. They fit in the palm of your hand, although you wouldn't want to hold it, I don't think. And it could kill, that's a lot, 26 adults in minutes. Wow. That's crazy. So interesting, vicious, dangerous creature here. So now that we finished this first story, we're going to talk about it. I want you to get out a clean sheet of lined paper. That's another supply you should have in your binder, like this. If you have it in your binder, you can take it out of your binder so that you can write on it. If you need your binder to write on top of, that's okay with me, but you need a clean sheet of lined paper like this. And you need a pencil or pen. At this time, it's optional. Later, I'm going to require one or the other, but you can use a pencil or a pen to do this part. And Chase, do you have your lined paper? Okay, get out your paper. You've been in my class before, Chase, but the rest of the students here are not familiar with this process. So, but I still want you to do yours too. Okay, Chase. Now in my class, everyone has to put their name on the upper left-hand corner here on that blue line. I'm very particular about how I want you to label your papers. Okay. So what I'm going to do is draw a line, but I want you to put your first and last name here. So Jude Swanson and Alex Santamaria, Matt Santamaria, Chase Kwan. You put your first and last name on that top line on the left near the holes. Right underneath that, I want you to put today's date. Today is, and I like to spell it out, but if you prefer putting the number 9 and the day is 12/23, that's okay with me, but it has to either be like this or 9/12/23. So this is what you do every single time we get out a new sheet of paper and we're working on something. You always start by putting your name here at the top and then the date right underneath it. Okay, let me know if you guys have any questions or if you can't see something. I'm going to try to keep it clear for you on my end. Oh, just kidding. Now it went blurry. Okay, there we go. That was better. Okay. I'm going to do a lot of talking today because it's the first class and I'm showing you how to do things, but eventually you're going to have more time to talk. But now you're going to skip a space, skip a line here. And then I want you to write the title here of this article, which is called And it does not have to be perfectly centered, but try to get it toward the middle. The blue ringed octopus. Somewhere in the middle, after you skip a line, put the title of the article is the blue ringed octopus. I call it an article because it's not really a story, right? It's a factual piece of writing. So we're learning from it. We learned about the blue ringed octopus. Okay, once you get the title down, right underneath that, I want you to write the words key word outline. I'll give you a second to write that down. Hey, give me a thumbs up whenever you got that done. Okay, I see that, Alex. Got it, Zoe? Not yet? Okay. And this is, by the way, this is going to be an outline. So your handwriting needs to be legible, but it does not need to be perfect. So I saw that, Zoe. Good. And Jude, you got yours? Okay. So yeah, don't worry about making your handwriting super duper perfect right now, but it does need to be legible. So you need to be able to read it. Chase, are you good? Okay. Now, this is where I'm going to teach you a brand new skill, and you're going to use this skill all the way throughout the whole time you're with me, a keyword outline. And let's talk for a second about what a keyword is. A keyword is different than a regular word because it is important to the sentence, to understand the sentence and to remember the sentence. So a keyword, for instance, looking back on our article here, I'm just going to kind of share both at the same time. A keyword, in like looking at the first sentence, like others of its order, the blue ringed octopus has 8 arms, 2 eyes, and a beak-like mouth that can cut through a wetsuit. So that has a lot of information in it, but words like of or like or has or that, those are not keywords. Keywords are the ones that are the most important to remember the sentence by. So keywords are like blue ringed octopus, 8 arms, 2 eyes, a beak-like mouth, cut wetsuit, something like that. Okay, those are key words. Now there are some rules to the keyword outline, and we're going to go over those again, but this is the first time through. In your outline, you can only write 3 keywords for each sentence. But the good news is there's some freebies that you can use, like numbers and abbreviations and symbols. We can use those 3 things for free. So we don't have to count them as our 3 words. Other than that, you have to have only 3 key words. And this rule will apply forever and ever. Amen. So remember that, only 3 words, but then those extra things are for free. So here's how we're going to set up our outline. And maybe you've seen an outline before, but usually an outline is a mixture of Roman numerals and Arabic numbers, or numerals. And so we're going to start with skip a line, and on the edge here next to the red line, you're going to start with a Roman numeral 1. Give me a thumbs up if you've heard of Roman numerals and you know what they are. Kind of, maybe some of you are like, yeah, I kind of know. Okay, I see a couple that do know. Okay, so, whoops, my light just went out. Hold on just a second here. It just gets tired and it's like, no, I'm not done yet. So come back on. Okay. A Roman numeral uses letters for numbers. The thing I always remind students of is like the Super Bowl, when they say Super Bowl 50, whatever, it's a bunch of Roman numerals that you see together. Sometimes you might see them on a wall clock, things like that. My light went out again. Oh, well, I'm going to be in the dark. Start with Roman numeral 1, and then underneath that, I want you to put 1 through 6. So go down to the next line here, leave a little space. See how I have that moved over? And I want you to write 1 through 6. Just like that. Okay. So you should have Roman numeral 1 is touching that red line, and then the others are not touching it. They're moved over, but they're underneath that Roman numeral 1. This is a basic outline for your first article here. Now, Roman numeral 1 represents the first sentence. And I'm doing this really slow today because it's your first time with an outline. I know Chase has done it before, but this is good practice for you to get used to how to do this. So I'm going to look at the very first sentence here, and it says, like I already read, like others of its order, the blue-ringed octopus has 8 arms, 2 eyes, and a beak-like mouth that can cut through a wetsuit. We can only use 3 keywords. So I'm going to, we already know we're talking about the blue-ringed octopus because that's the title. So I'm not going to count that on my outline because I can only use 3. So I think what I'm going to do is choose some facts that I want to put here. And I know later it talks about how it has venom in its mouth. So I do want to make sure to mention that it has a beak-like mouth and that it cuts through the wetsuit. Now I already know octopus, they always have 8 arms because octa is 8, like octagram. And then 2 eyes, figure that, we pretty much know it has 2 eyes. So I'm going to start with this fact right here, and I'm going to write on my next to my Roman numeral 1, beak dash like. Now that's a hyphenated word, beak like. It's hyphenated, so guess what? We can count that as 1 word because it has a hyphen right here. And then I'm going to have you put a comma because these words need to be separated by a comma. And then I think it's important to remember that it cuts through a wetsuit. Now I know it's a mouth because a beak is on the face, it's on the mouth, so I don't need the word mouth. So I'm going to put the word cut and then comma and then wetsuit. So I have next to the Roman numeral 1, beak-like, which is hyphenated, cut, wetsuit. And you separate the keywords by commas. And I know cut is not a very descriptive word. I mean, it is, but it's a small word. That's okay. It's a keyword. It's telling us what the beak is doing. It's got this mouth, beak-like mouth that can cut through a wetsuit. Now let's look at the second sentence. Thankfully, this one's shorter, so it's a little bit easier. It feeds on shrimp, crabs, and small fish. Now, keep in mind, we can only do 3 words. So I think feeds is important because we're talking about now what it eats. So we're going to copy that word feeds. And then I'm going to write down what it eats. So it eats shrimp, crabs, and small fish. That's 4 things. So that's 3 things, and we already have feeds. So you can either choose shrimp and crabs, or crabs and fish, small fish. I'm going to go like this. Feeds, crabs, and I'm going to put the word small. And then I'm going to draw, I'm not a very good artist, so, bear with me. It's kind of like the Christian symbol of a fish, if you've ever seen that symbol before. But it looks like that. If yours doesn't come out fantastic, that's okay. As long as you know what it is, if you know it's a fish, that is considered a symbol. Feeds, crabs, small fish. You could have shrimp in there instead of one of those words if you wanted to, but go ahead and stick with what I have here. Feeds, crabs, and small fish, a little symbol there. Okay, so we didn't get all the way to the end of this outline, and that's okay, because we're going to come back to it tomorrow. So here's what I want you to do with all the pages that you just took out of your binder, because it's already time to go. That was a fast hour. You're going to put everything together. You've got this front page that says week 1, and then you've got all the other pages you took out of your binder, and this page. I would put this one on top. And then I want you to keep it for now in the pocket, in the front pocket of your binder right here. So when you go to do your homework later, you can find it easily. It's going to be right here in the very front pocket. All those papers you took out and the one you were just working on. And I am not assigning homework for this yet because I really want to make sure you understand how to do this outline. So we're going to come back to this next week. So you don't have homework in this binder this week, but you do have the grammar pages. You're going to do pages 4 through 6 in your grammar book. And that's your homework. So when you go to turn in your homework, you can either have your mom take a picture of the pages in your book and then upload it to Google Classroom. By the way, give me a thumbs up if you're on Google Classroom, if you got logged in. You guys know if you did? You're like, you're not sure, Jude? Okay, I'll find out and I'll let your mom know. Do you know, Zoe, if you're in?
Me and my mom tried to get in earlier this morning, but we couldn't get in. It said that I had the wrong account, but it was my account. It was weird. We couldn't figure it out.
So you do have to use a Gmail. You can't use the Heartland account. So if you were trying to log in with Heartland, I don't think it'll let you do that. Okay, yes, I see you there. Alex's mom. Oh, she's muted.
We had Google Classroom up. We used a Gmail account. And I still don't know how to get in. Is this what we're watching now? Supposed to be on Google Classroom available?
No, this right now, in fact, I'll just this right now is called a Zoom.
Yes.
It's separate than Google Classroom.
Okay. So what are you asking about? I'm trying to understand that. What is that?
Yeah. So Google Classroom, let me pull it up for you really quick so you can see what it looks like.
I know what it is, but is she supposed to be doing something in there right now with this class, or just for getting the homework and submitting the homework?
Getting the homework and submitting the homework is all she does on Google Classroom.
I think we're good.
Okay. Yeah. So just getting the homework, like your homework last week was writing that paragraph. And I know I graded some. I think I graded yours.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, I did. Okay. Yeah. So you guys are good. You're good.
When you said, are you on Google Classroom now? I thought maybe we were supposed to be watching the class in Google Classroom. That's what I
Sorry. No, I did not mean that. I just mean like, are you logged in? Like, can you get in? So it's not right now. Yeah. Sorry for the confusion. You guys are good. You and Matt are both logged in. So you're getting the homework and you're turning it in. So you're all set. Okay. Yep. And you're free to go. I'm just going to talk to the other students here.